So I'll start with database. We've introduced a fully autonomous database cloud. The benefits of it are zero cost, labor cost, full elasticity instantly. You do not need to take it down for patching, backing up, upgrade, or tuning. And we guarantee the best performance in the industry. So we're going to show you today the fully autonomous data warehouse cloud. And George Lumpkin from development is going to come up to show you that. Is George here? George, come on up. We'll show you how easy it is to use the autonomous data warehouse cloud. All you need to do is load data and run your queries. George, welcome to CloudWorld.
Hey, thank you, Thomas. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick demo and really talk about some of the key features that Thomas just discussed in our autonomous data warehouse cloud. I'm going to show you how easy it is to use the cloud because it's autonomous, how simple it is. I'm going to show you how fast and elastic it is. And then I'm going to show you how it integrates with other components in Oracle's platform, specifically Oracle Analytics Cloud. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. We're first going to log into the cloud, and I'm going to start by creating a database. So I'm going to log in. I come into our main cloud dashboard, and we can see that Autonomous Data Warehouse is one of the products that we now have that's available for us. So I'm going to open the Service Console. And since it's the first time we've used it, we come to the welcome page that gives you tutorials. But I'm going to skip right forward and move forward to create a new data warehouse. Now, it's really simple to create a new data warehouse. All we need to have is the database name, which uses a number of CPUs, the amount of storage, and then the administrator password. Now, I want to sort of pause here and point out something, right? Sometimes when you're looking at a demo, a demonstration, you see how I'm creating the database, and you say, well, that's really simple. All those questions make sense. We need to know how many CPUs, how many database. But what you need to realize is all the things that we're not asking you. Because this starts to be how you see that the system's autonomous. There's no questions here about what version database software you're going to run. There are no questions here about what type of disk is this system? What type of CPU should this be running on? How am I going to configure my backup and recovery? This is what the characteristic of an autonomous database is. Oracle's cloud is making these decisions and is going to automatically configure the database in an optimal way for a data warehouse workload. So let's go ahead, click Next, and we're going to quickly confirm the settings and go ahead and create our data warehouse. Now, what we're doing here is we're provisioning a new database. It's going to be on top of Exadata, so it's going to deliver great performance. We can see we started creating the service. We're building this fully secure environment. It's going to be on all the latest patches. It's going to be fully encrypted. It's set up for high availability. And there it is. It's already created. It takes us about 15 seconds to build this enterprise-ready database. So not only is it easy, you don't have to make any of the choices. We start to see how the autonomous systems are going to enable companies to innovate more rapidly. You can build a new data warehouse much more quickly than you could in the past. So now we created this data warehouse. Well, first of all, you can see on this console, we can manage the warehouse from here. We could start, we could stop it, we could scale the service up and down. And now that we created this data warehouse, we're going to switch over, and we're going to look at Oracle Analytics Cloud. This is another service, another one of our PaaS services. And Oracle Analytics Cloud provides a set of tools and capabilities to deliver enterprise BI and self-service analytics. This is how the business users are going to get data from the autonomous data warehouse cloud. Now, I've already created a project specifically for my autonomous data warehouse. Let's open the project. The autonomous data warehouse is really designed as a very scalable data warehouse. And we're not going to show data loading in today's demo. But one thing that the autonomous data warehouse has is it comes with a sample data set. because it's a scalable service, it has a large data set. Our example data set, 6 billion records. So when you start up your database, you're going to be able to run through tutorials and so forth against this data set that we're showing here. So we have a pretty large data set. We could see a little information about this data. And let's step forward and look at the type of report that an actual business analyst might use. Our data set has sales data. So we have a quick report here. It shows profit by product, brand, and regions. And we added some other information to this report. You could see the SQL query, for example. You could also see that with our 4 CPU database, and 4 CPUs is pretty small, it's really more of a data mart. Over these 6 billion records, this report took 100 seconds to run. I had obviously pre-populated the report for the purposes of this demo. But you know what? Let's suppose that's not really the experience I want as a business user. I don't want to wait 100 seconds. So the Oracle Autonomous Data Warehouse Cloud allows you to scale elastically. So if you want to increase the performance, you can just increase the number of CPUs. Now you can do this using the Data Warehouse Cloud Console that we saw just a couple of minutes ago. You can also do this via REST API. So you can manage all of Oracle's cloud services and manage Oracle's Autonomous Data Warehouse Cloud using a REST API. And in the lower right of the screen, we'd actually add a custom visualization in Oracle Analytics Cloud, a slider bar that uses this REST API. So what we're going to do is let's say, hey, we want to increase the performance. And we could add sort of any number of CPUs we want. Let's bump up this data warehouse to 16 CPUs. So this is started now. And what's happening is, behind the scenes, we're enlarging the capacity of the existing database. And this is going to occur fully online. This is really sophisticated database technology. If there are other users running on this data warehouse, their queries continue to run uninterrupted while we scale the system from 4 CPUs to 16 CPUs. And this is a lot different than how other databases work. Some other systems actually say, well, if you want to scale the system, we need to pause your database while we recreate it on the larger hardware configuration. With Oracle's Autonomous Database, we can scale dynamically. So now we've scaled this to 16 CPUs. Let's go ahead and resubmit our report. So we're going to refresh the data. We're resubmitting our report. And what we're going to see here, there we go. We're going to see that with 16 CPUs, the report runs much faster, right? 13 seconds, probably acceptable for the type of thing that a business user might want to see. If we want to improve performance further, we have our hands on the knob. We can do this anytime we want to change the performance. So now we have a high-performance data warehouse. We can start to look at a couple of other interesting reports. So this is a dashboard that has 4 visualizations. We see a map visualization. All these visualizations are dynamic. You can see highlighting different sections of the map, highlighting different portions of the donut chart, and it gets reflected on the map. We have a couple of bar charts here on the right, and I have the ability to right-click on them and augment this with extra information. For example, I'm going to add a trend line. So we're running functions against a very large data set using Oracle Analytics Cloud to provide very interactive visualizations. And there's some other really cool features in Oracle Analytics Cloud. You know, the last feature I wanted to show within Oracle Analytics Cloud is really how this service has incorporated machine learning and natural language processing. So I could come in and just start typing an English query. Just say, hey, I want to look at sales by product. And I want to add to this, let's look at profit by customer segment. And Oracle Analytics Cloud is automatically going to recommend visualizations based upon your English query. And these visualizations are going to be fully interactive, just like we saw before. You can select a subset of data and drill in. So you get a feel for how customers can interact with the data. So now that we come to sort of wind up this demo, I wanted to show one more specific feature of Oracle's Autonomous Data Warehouse Cloud. I talked about how it's elastic. And let's suppose that we were just had this database up for a demo. I had this database up to show you. And now we're done. Now we're wrapping up the demo. Well, if we want to save money, we could take these CPUs and turn it down to 0, right? You continue to pay for storage for your data warehouse. But for CPUs, you should be paying for exactly what you need, when you need it. Say down to 0, we could come in tomorrow morning, turn on this data warehouse, and be running. So Thomas, what we've shown here is with the Oracle Autonomous Data Warehouse Cloud, we've shown how by being autonomous, it's very easy.
Yes.
There was nothing required to set up the database. I didn't really talk about day-to-day maintenance, but there's no backing up, right? There's none of these operational DBA tasks required for an autonomous database. We saw how the autonomous database is elastic. We could easily change the capacity of the database. And the key business benefit there is it allows you to save money. You pay for exactly the resources you need. And then we saw how the autonomous database is integrated with all of Oracle's other cloud services. We saw how you could visualize data using Oracle Analytics Cloud. We're really excited to introduce our first autonomous service with the Autonomous Data Warehouse Cloud. Delivers great performance, and our customers are going to love it.
Thank you, George. Great job.
Yep.